Hello, students. I want to do a quick tutorial on how to analyze your data using Excel. So the first thing that we are going to try to do is first, like when you get your data from the LabQuest, we will have something like this, like in your email. This is from the second experiment. This is from the first experiment. So let's begin with this. I don't think you can copy these ones in Excel. Just let me check. So, okay. So you should be seeing my Excel document. I just copy this table, and what I will do is paste it in Excel. And there you go. I have now the data. And what I want to do first is to select both columns, then click Insert, Charts, Scatter. And here we will have the graph of the data from the experiment number one. Then we need to modify certain parameters of this graph. So first, let's add a trend line. Remember that in this case, we need inverse relationships. We use the trend line option with power. Then we scroll down here into the display equation chart and display our square value. Here we have the equation. First thing, next thing we need to modify is the name of the plot. So the label should be oils. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's oils law, and you can also include like in parentheses pressure versus volume there. Then we select the numerical values in the x-axis, and we go here to this option, axis option, and we have to first select the bounds of the graph. So if our experimental values lie within this region from 5 to 20, we can select as a lowest value of 5 and the highest value, let's say 20. Actually, that's fine. 21 is fine. Then we can also, like still selecting these numbers, we can add chart element. Let's add the axis title. So this is the axis for the Y axis, and this is for the X axis, right? So, oh, I'm sorry. Again, so axis title, vertical one, then again for the horizontal one. And there you go. Now in the axis title, you should write down like, here is volume. Volume, and in parentheses the units. So it's lowercase m, uppercase L, close parentheses. We can also select again the numbers and change the decimal places. So again, in axis options, number, here in category, we select number. And we use the same number of decimals as the measurement we did. So it's only one. You can see here, sorry, one decimal place, two significant figures for the volume. Okay, there you go. Now the y-axis is pressure. Parentheses is kilopascals. Select again the numbers and same procedure. Axis, sorry, numbers. The bottom number, and here pressure is measured up to 2 decimal places, so that one is fine. Oh, I forgot to modify the y values, the bounds. So it's from our lowest experimental point is around 60. So let's say 40. Again, select the numbers from the y-axis, then go here to axis options. So let's say 50 is our lowest value. And our maximum value is around 190. There it's much better. We can also change the font. So I like Times New Roman for these for all the texts, and increase the size of the, let's say 12. 12 is fine. Change it also the title. Fine 14. Change also the axis. The numbers. So the way you change the numbers, I think it's in, oh, it's should be in formats. And no. Oh, here it is, fonts. So you select the numbers and then right click and font. Okay, so we should be using, yeah, fonts. It's just a preference. I like fonts. Let's increase it to 10. There you go. Again with pressure. Right click, font, Times New Roman. Oh, I forgot to change the font size again. 10. There you go. We can also like select the regression text box and include a filling background. So just include a white one. This is for legibility. So you should be able to read these questions. And we can also add ticks. The ticks are the lines on the edges of the numbers. So select the number line and then again, axis, tick marks. Here you go. So insert inside this square. So select inside and then you can modify the width. So I like larger. You see how it increases. Let's say this one is fine. And black color. I can select the numbers, tick marks, inside, go here. This option is called fill and lines. So change the color to black. Again, 27. And there you go. So this makes it cleaner. Also, let's change the color of the trend line. So you select the trend line anywhere in the trend line, select it and change color. I like it to be black, maybe a little bit wider. So increase the width. The points, which select one of the points, and it selects automatically each one. And we select marker. Then solid line. No, I'm sorry, these are borders. We don't want borders, so no line. We can change the filling, so I have solid fill and change color, let's say a red. And I think that should be it. Like, okay, this looks professional, whatever. Now let's try to do the second graph. So same, you should have in your email the data from your second experiment, which should look something like this. Again, you select all these values on top. Copy. We can use them in the same sheet, or we can open a second one. Then paste. Now remember that temperature should be in absolute value. So there you go. Equal sign, then 273.15. Sorry, 0.15 plus the value in Celsius. So you select the cell that is in the first event in temperature plus this correction to obtain the temperature in Kelvin. So this is temperature in Kelvin scale. And we select the cell where we wrote down the formula and just double click these small points at this edge. So double select it, and now it's like double clicked, and you will see like correction for the whole values of temperature. And if you remember the dependent variable, or the y variable, is pressure, so we copy and paste it next to the temperature in Kelvin. So now we can plot. Again, select the values, insert, chart, scatter plot, and we will see that, I don't know why Excel like grabs a lot of empty space, so we need again to correct the bounds. So we go select the data points, and then go here to series options. Oh, I'm sorry, it was in the numbers in the X value, X axis. So select the numbers and then go here to axis option. And we see that the X values goes from 270 up to 370. So let's write down minimum value to 70. And the maximum, let's say 380. There you go. Now we select the Y axis numbers, and it's from minimum from 70 up to 100, so that's fine in my case. We can add a trend line again. It is now a linear relationship because the second experiment is the Gay-Lussac law. So it's pressure is equal to K times temperature. Right? Again, we modify this pressure versus temperature. The title. Then again, we add select and add chart elements, axis tiles for the X, for the Y. We change again these to temperature, and in parentheses in Kelvin. It's not Kelvin degrees, right? It's only Kelvin. And here is pressure in kilopascals. Again, we change the number of decimals, axis options, and numbers, category number, and now for temperature, it's almost like integers, right? So it's for a few measurements, but let's just keep 0 decimal places. And for the white values, we see 2 decimal places. So number, category, number, 2 decimal places. There you go. Select the trend line and go down, display the equation and R squared. Now put it in somewhere that is more legible. Again, I don't like Calibri, so let's change time zone. This is optional, by the way. You don't have to actually do this. So this times around, maybe there. Sorry, undo. Temp times. So yeah. This is just a little bit of trial and error. There you go. Again, we have to include a background for this text box, shape, fill, and white. Select the numbers again. Let's add the ticks. So we go back to axis options, tick marks, major tick types. Major types, and inside. Then we go to fill and line, and fill solid line. No, I'm sorry, no fill. We increase that width, and we change the color to black. Same on the other side. Select axis options, inside major type, go back to fill and line, then color, black, width, maybe that's fine. And yeah, I think that's it. So remember to add captions below your graph. And what I mean by a caption is like a brief description of the graph. So it's not the same as a title. It is a little bit longer, like a small paragraph or maybe 1 or 2 sentences. That is the caption of the graph. And you basically describe what you are seeing here in this line or in this graph. And then that would be it. If you have any questions, you can ask in office hours or send me an email. Thank you.